Hey, good morning, everyone. So look at my do. It's still fabulous. A couple days later, makes me feel human and pretty again. So as I'm still rocking the bathrobe every day. But I wanted to come on here today and talk about one of the biggest things that I haven't talked about after doing this surgery, which is my pathology report. So the whole point of having this surgery was to avoid getting breast cancer. And, you know, before my surgery, I had to have an MRI, and this is all documented in my videos. And I wound up finding things in both breasts, in the left and in the right. And they biopsied the left, and that was clear, but the right still had some formations that needed to be analyzed, but there wasn't enough to biopsy at this point. So in doing the surgeries, once they remove the breast tissue, they send it off to pathology. And last week at my first post-op appointment, my doctor came in and gave me the results, and they were all clear. So I cried. I think I screamed. um, but it made this journey, this incredibly hard recovery, worth it in ways that I really have trouble describing, because my whole life I lived in fear of getting breast cancer. I knew I had a high risk. I didn't want to know if I had a gene. Um, I felt like every lump or bump could turn into cancer. And it's been incredibly daunting, right? It's really overshadowed a large part of my life. And I did the genetic testing in December, since I found out I was a BRCA1 carrier, knowing that now this is the gene that my mom had, that her grandmother had, that killed them both, I knew that surgery was the path for me. So and with the idea of, could I escape it, right? Could I come out ahead of this clean? And I did. And even though right now, like, I am scarred and dealing with blisters and wounds on my chest that are incredibly hard to look at, I feel different. I feel free in a way that I didn't know that I could feel. I took a breath after my doctor said that everything was all clear. That was such this sense of relief that I didn't know would ever exist for me. Um, so I'm just so grateful um, that I did this. And I know you keep hearing me say that, and it probably drives you all crazy, but there is such a deep sense of relief here that I just feel freedom. You know, Braveheart at the end when he's like screaming and he's like, freedom. I mean, that's kind of how it feels in my mind. I took my risk from 60 to 70% to under 5%. All of the tissue in my breast, because the pathology, when they do these surgeries, they literally kind of slice up all your tissue. So they analyze a lot of it, was all clear. And so I now get to live my life knowing that my risk is under 5%. Very, very small. And if it were to happen, because it could, it would be on the surface, it would be caught very early, and the success rate of, or the cure rate, as they would say, is like 99%. So I just have this deep sense of gratitude for trusting myself in doing this, being able to get through this surgery and heal, the support that I've had from my family and friends, and to just know that that's gone, right? That it is all clear. And I wish that I could drink because I would have had a glass of champagne to celebrate that information, that great news. But I got some time to go before I can drink again. So in the meantime, I just wanted to come on here and share that with you guys because I realized that, like, in posting these videos, I haven't. I didn't share that. And that's sort of the biggest part of this journey, right? Was getting through this and getting that all clear pathology. So here we are. Very excited about that. Um, so I really just kind of wanted to share that with you. And then I also want to go and just kind of say to everybody, if you have a family history, if you're concerned at all, get tested. If you have questions, if you don't know what to do, talk to a genetic counselor. I wish in hindsight that I would have done this much earlier. I wasn't ready. I've said that in a previous video. I know that for whatever reason in my life, I was meant to do this now. And I'm okay with that. Better late than never. Better now than never and be dealing with cancer versus here and no cancer, right? But if you have concerns, if you have doubt and worry, get tested. Information is power. You have choice, you have options. And if you ever need to talk or, want to know more about what I've gone through, hit me up because I'm happy to share. I am now really want to be an advocate for this process because, again, the relief that I feel is such a different sense of freedom for the second half of my life that I just can't even describe. And I'm incredibly happy. I'm just so grateful that I did it. So, anyway, that's all for today. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.